Hello everyone, this is Keren from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you for joining me. This is what I'm going to be making today. It's a Springer card with, I think, a rather masculine feel. If you'd like to see how I made it, then stay with me and I will show you. This is Sahara sand and I've cut it at 7.5 inches by 5 inches. And I'm going to score it at the 5 inch mark and the 2.5 inch mark. Right, so I've got my score marks in. Now I'm going to turn the card so that one corner is up at the 6 inch mark, and as you can see I've gone over that with a Sharpie marker to make sure that I can see it clearly. So I'm just making sure that that corner is aligned up with my 6 inch mark, and this score mark, the one that I made at 2.5 inches, is also lined up because I'm going to score from corner to corner. Now I could do it with a ruler, but to be honest, whoops, I'm trying not to do that. Try not to skip out of the line. And now I'm going to do from that corner to the point. Think of the word for a moment. I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, and my head is feeling a little bit fuzzy, and I'm kind of losing my words. So I'm going to make a mark at the 1 inch mark and at the 4 inch mark, and I'm going to turn that round and make a mark at the 1 inch mark, and I'm going to make a mark at the 6.5 inch mark. So basically I'm marking off an inch at each of those corners. If you can see the bit where I went out, I'm just going to take my bone folder and I'm just going to polish that out from the other side. And it won't be perfect, you know, nothing in life is perfect, but that bit is going to be folded down and nobody will see it, so I'm not going to stress about that over much. Alright, so now I'm going to burnish my folds. So that one goes that way, that one goes that way, so you've got a Z fold going on, and now I'm going to fold corner to corner, and again on the opposite corner. Alright, now I'm just going to snip off those corners. And now I'm going to create the folds, and that is the spring mechanism. The largest of the plain circle framelets, and I've cut out a piece of Lost Lagoon card, and I'm going to run it through my Big Shot in the World Traveller embossing folder. So stick with me, I will be right back. So here it is, all beautifully embossed, and before I put it on the front of my card, I've just got a stamping sponge here with just a little bit of soft suede ink on it, and I'm just going to lightly brush over the top and just catch the highlights, just the same as I did. A little bit more ink, I think. Not too much, because I don't want to make it look filthy dirty, but I just want to catch those edges and just make it stand out a little bit more, just bring it into a little bit more relief. Okay, and I think I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to bring back my Springer mechanism, and now you can see why I cut those corners off, because if I hadn't, if I show you the size of it without the corners, it would be that size, and it would stick out behind the card and it would give it those funny looking ears, and I didn't want that. So that is why I chopped the corners off. So now I'm going to stick this onto the front of my card. So I'm going to put the snail onto the card, and one of these days I will learn which way up to hold the snail first time. Right. So plenty of snail on there, and I'm lining up my card so that I've got a little tiny piece peeping out underneath the bottom. And there it is. And there it is. I'm using stamps from this set, which is Going Global, and I'm going to be using the World, which they accidentally left Britain and Ireland off, but you know, never mind, we'll put it in afterwards. And I'm also going to be using this one, which is You Mean the World to Me. So I've already mounted them up onto my blocks, and I'm using soft suede ink, and I've got a piece of very vanilla card on my silicone mat. So I'm going to ink up my stamp first of all, and make sure it's well covered, because I haven't used this stamp very much, and stamps do get better the more you use them. Right, so I'm going to go straight down, and I'm just going to hold it on there for a count of, oh, I don't know, maybe 10, just to give the ink time to transfer. And yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So I put that one on one side for a moment, and I've got another scrap piece of Very Vanilla, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And as you can see, this is very scrappy, because yeah, we never throw anything away. I'm not quite sure how well that's going to come out because I've caught the edge. So I'm going to take a tissue, just in case I press too hard. And that's why I don't stamp directly on the paper, because if I had, that would have been upside down, but as I'm going to cut it out with a punch, it doesn't matter. This is the 2-inch circle punch, and I'm going to fit my globe inside it so that it all fits in there, and punch. There it is. And you could use the 2.5-inch circle punch. If you use the 2.5-inch circle punch, you will get a rim around your globe. If you use the 2-inch, then you actually lose a little bit of what you've stamped. Can you see? So it's up to you really what effect you want, because it'll work either way. This is the washi label punch, and I'm just centering You Mean the World to Me in my punch. And that's now ready. And before I go any further, I put the ink away. Perhaps I shouldn't have. Got one of our stamping sponges and the soft suede ink, and I'm just going to sponge around the edges, just like that. And the same thing on this one. Just catching the edges, not making, you know, a big performance of it. Now I'm going to be sticking this flap to this flap with a glue dot, but before I do that, it's easier to decorate the card while it's still in, you know, while it's still in the flat state. So that is what I'm going to do. So I've got my pieces of I'm going to be sticking this flap to this flap with a glue dot, but before I do that, it's easier to decorate the card while it's still in the disassembled state. So I've got my my stamped globe and my You Mean the World to Me, and I've got those ready. And I've also got some of our striped cotton ribbon, and this is Lost Lagoon, so it coordinates with the big globe there. And I'm just going to cut off a piece of it, and let me see, how do I want this? Yeah, I kind of want it like that, so I'm going to chop that corner off. begin with. I'm going to put that there. And let me see, glue dots to begin with. So first of all, I'm going to sort of stick it to itself so that it's in the configuration that I want, and I think that's about it. And I'm going to put, I think probably I'm going to put a couple of glue dots on the back here just to make sure that it's not going anywhere that I don't want it to. So pop that pretty much where I want it to be. I think that's about it. Alright, and now my globe. And I think I'm going to use dimensionals for my globe. Let's use a few of them because they aren't very expensive, and come off? No, that one hasn't come off. Flick. There we go. All right. Okay. And same thing for my sentiment. Now I'm going to put a dimensional on this end, but I'm going to put a glue dot on this end, because that way it will sit on top of the embellishment that's already there, and it will sit level. And the glue dot's already decided to stick to the other embellishment, so let's not mess about, shall we? Okay. How's that looking? Yep, happy with that. Okay, so finishing touches. Put some glue dots. I think 2 will be enough. Along, the glue dots do not want to play today. Actually, I will put 3 because the glue dots are being naughty, and I want to make sure that this is stuck down well. And one more little bit of bling. I'm going to use the rhinestones. So let's have one there and another one there. And there is the finished article, the finished Springer card. So I do hope very much that you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I would absolutely love it if you would leave me a comment or click the like button. And if you want to see more of my tutorials, then please do think about subscribing to my channel, because I will be posting more very soon. I've got a blog and I've got a Facebook page, and you can get there from the links in the more information box below. And if you want to find out how to get hold of the materials that I use, the stamps and the card and the gems, then there is a link to my Stampin' Up shop as well. But just for now, I do thank you very much for watching, and I hope that I'm going to see you again soon. Bye bye.